Hi, Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising. I'm Christy Forsyth with Clarity by Christy. I am a soul therapist and an intuitive that connects with the angelic energy, and I help the helpers, the healers, and the light bringers of this world to live their most magical life. So if that's you, make sure you hit the subscribe button below with the bell so you can get notifications for all the videos that I'm sharing here on this channel. So you hear me say at the beginning of these videos, Sun, Moon, Rising, and we're going to be taking a look for Cancers at their month of March 2021. But the reason that I say Sun, Moon, Rising, I've had some people ask me about this, is because I think that you can really get a more comprehensive reading for you yourself as an individual if you know your sun sign, if you know your moon sign, and if you know your rising sign. And you can find those on most free astrology sites. And what you can do is watch the 3 videos or watch the Sun, Moon, Rising video. Some of you will have your sun and your moon in the same sign and those kind of things. So it might not be 3 videos for everybody, but my point is watch those videos that align with your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign. And it will give you a better sense of the overall energy, more specifically for you throughout the month of March 2021. So anyway, let's dive into your monthly reading. We're going to take a look at what the angels want you to know for this month of March 2021. And what I see for you, I think that you can save yourself a lot of discomfort this month if you can be very aware of the ways that your ego is impacting the way that you're perceiving things, is impacting the way that you are perceiving your success, perceiving your happiness. And we're going to dive into that more. But I feel like there's going to be a feeling of frustration on your part. I think that you guys can feel Cancer is very much, I feel like as you guys get closer to your birth month, to your birthdays, I feel like that's going to be a really powerful and really important time. I can feel the momentum building, okay? And I think on some unconscious level, Cancer feels that and feels like, okay, I'm working toward this, and the things that I'm working on, the things that I'm wanting to have happen in my life, you can feel the power that so many of them are going to be manifesting as we're moving forward. But I think that it's really important to note that this is as we're moving forward and that there's a progression, right? I see a lot of energy around your birthday month, around like June, July timing, because that's like, I just feel like that's going to be a totally new energy for you, okay? And so right now we're building up to it, but your job is to not get too frustrated when you're not progressing in the ways that you had anticipated or had wanted to progress in whatever area of your life that you're frustrated with. Maybe your work isn't progressing in the way that you want, or a relationship isn't progressing in the way that you want, or some of the goals that you're working on aren't quite happening for you in the way that you want. And so what this is really doing is stirring up that ego, right? And when our ego steps in, what can happen is we can start to feel really sorry for ourselves. We can start to forget to appreciate what we actually already have and how we have some really amazing things already in our experience. And that frustration can really bring you down. It can make you say negative things to yourself. And I can see that really happening for Cancer this month, where you're very in your head and very hard on yourself, quite frankly. But again, that feels like it comes from ego, right? Because when it comes from soul, our soul knows that our best life path, the things that we're destined to have, to experience, are not going to pass us by. And so there is a level of patience required, and there is a level of gratitude and appreciation required for exactly where you're at. Because I think if you really take a look at it, you'll see how much in different areas of your life things have progressed. And we're human, so we're built to want more. We're built to want always be raising the bar, and that's great because we always want to be growing and we always want to be expanding. And so on some level we can sometimes always feel that level of frustration, but I feel like it kind of comes to a head this month, where you're just wanting to have it happen. Maybe you've been working really hard, or you've been putting a lot of energy into something and it's just not happening or showing up in the way that you'd like it to. And so again, it's about talking to your ego and, you know, really coming into your soul and trusting that everything is exactly as it should be, and everything will come in exactly the right timing and will happen in exactly the right way. And so I do feel like your job is to continue to do the work, to continue to put your energy into it. We have 0 planets in retrograde now until April 27th. This is a beautiful period of time to, I don't know, I'm hearing like spring forward, right? This is a beautiful time to spring forward, to like go and do and take care of the things that you know that you need to be doing, and going after your goals, and maybe not be getting so frustrated with the fact that they're not showing up in the way, or you're not achieving them in the way that you expect yourself to. And, you know, cut yourself some patience, by the way, as well. So I feel like it's like you're springing forward, and I think it's important to put energy into things, but I'm hearing spring forward in balance. Okay. So it's also about like not putting so much energy into things that you're almost like in a place where you're trying to force it or you're trying to control it, right? Because I feel like that energy can really block any potential growth, any potential forward movement that you're actually trying to achieve in your life. And so you really want to find that balance between taking action, but also sitting back and letting some things come to you. So like, this isn't a month that you're going to want to burn yourself out. Just go, go, go. Yes, take action. Yes, this is a great time to spring forward and put energy into that, but also find that balance, and find that balance between taking care of yourself and giving a time and attention to self-care and to balance and all of those things that you know are helpful to you, that help balance you, because this is a really great way to open up energy as well, is to just, you know, focus on what you want to achieve for a while, but then also relax and rest, because a lot of times it's in that period of time you're in a little bit more of a flow state, you're in a little bit more of a receptive state, and when we are receptive, things arrive for us. So just taking that step back and allowing that. I also feel like I feel like there's some old stuff coming up for you guys, okay? Like, and it has to do with how you have defined yourself. For a lot of you, this will be like from childhood up, or like just a situation in the past, and just like really thinking about how you have defined yourself in the past, and how you're still defining yourself in some of the ways that are connected to how you defined yourself in the past. And I see you kind of you taking a look at this, and it's really a time to know yourself as you are now rather than who you were in the past, and to recognize where maybe you've been defining yourself in some ways through an old pair of eyes, right? An old way of seeing things, an old way of doing things. And like, it's really time to change that perspective and recognize who you are now, because I think in some ways that's holding you back, you know? This feels like a release of some old trauma patterns for some of you. This feels like a release of some old like protective measures that we have used to protect our heart, to protect ourselves, you know, or even, you know, that way that we can sometimes as a self-protective measure go into sort of this survival mode, right? And to use the tools that we've used in the past to help us to survive or to help us to get through it. But I think you're going to be taking a look at some coping strategies, you know, that maybe have carried you through. But like, the reason that I put that in quotes is because I think that they're no longer the strategies that serve you. They're no longer the strategies that help you to cope now. And you have developed so much, and you have grown in so many ways. And so you have to take a look at those things that are more like survival mechanisms or self-protective mechanisms that are creeping up for you still are impacting the way that you see yourself, or impacting the way that you're interacting with other people. So I just see you taking a look at that and exploring that and making some changes, asking yourself, who am I? And, especially who am I now? And how is that different from maybe how I identified back in the past? And what do I want in my life? What do I really want in my life? And again, this is where you want to be mindful of ego, right? Because like ego will tell you want all kinds of different things. But when we get down to our soul, like at the root of our soul, we really need so many fewer things. And like, what do you really want? What do you really need in your life? And what's really most important to you? Because those are going to be the energies that you're going to focus on. Those are going to be the things that you're going to want to put your energy into, is manifesting those kind of things. So what do I want to call into my life that's going to help me to feel secure and happy and peaceful and joyful? What do I really want in my life? And so allowing yourself to explore that, allowing yourself to take a look at maybe some of the things that we are identifying as a need, and recognizing that, maybe that's coming from a place of ego, or maybe that particular need is no longer serving you. Sometimes we can develop really bad habits or things like that through these needs, these things that we believe that we need. And when we take a look at that, when we take a step back and we say, that's really not what I need. In fact, maybe that doesn't even serve me in my life. And maybe it's time for me to release that. Maybe it's time to let that go. And what is it that I really, really need? And what would truly, truly make me happy in my life and serve me on the path that I feel like is my best life path. I'm also feeling like, for you, like there's going to be sort of a frustration. Again, it's like frustration, right? I feel like I talked about this for you guys last month too, but there's like why isn't it happening for me? And even, frustration in terms of like money, or feeling like you don't have the kind of resources that you want, or you don't have the kind of time, opportunities, whatever it is that you're looking for. There's a frustration that it's not manifested. And I feel like it's like triggering some fears for you, right? This is where like that ego stuff again is getting triggered. It's like triggering old fears. And I think that it's time to take a step back also and recognize that your current situation is different from your situations from the past. And the reason that some of these things are being triggered is so that you can work through them, and so that you can kind of prepare yourself for this fresh new energy that's coming in around the time of your birthday. So you're working through old stuff and you're recognizing that. So you're working on also understanding the fears that you have and releasing some of those fears, recognizing that some of those fears just don't even make sense anymore for you in your life. And I just see you, if you successfully are navigating this month, really finding a lot of peace and joy and balance, and just enjoying the life that you've created for yourself already, and enjoying the things that you already have in your life. I do see some exploration in regard to relationships. I think, again, you're really doing some thinking about things and some processing about things. And I think that you're going to be recognizing that there are certain relationships in your life, there are certain connections that maybe like that didn't work out the way that you wanted it to. And that's purposeful. So know that that's purposeful, and it's either creating space for something better, or is an experience that you were meant to have in a way that you were meant to grow. And so it's your job to take the lesson, to notice the lesson in the experience and leave the rest, and not get too caught up in that. But I see you kind of deciding in regard to relationships, what do I want? Where do I want to go moving forward? What am I going to allow in my life? How do I want that to be different? Again, we're really working toward this new version of you. And I think ultimately you recognize where there are things in your life that just don't connect anymore. that just aren't you anymore. Like, have you ever just been sitting in your home and you look around and all of this stuff in the, had been just kind of blending in, and then you look around a room and you start to look at things and you start to say, oh, that thing that's sitting over there, that doesn't really fit for me anymore. I don't really like that anymore. Or that doesn't, I don't really like that in my room anymore, or in this space anymore. And you start to do that with some of your things. And I see you kind of doing that with your life this month, and beginning this process of exploring that, and what fits, what doesn't, and where do I need to refresh? Where do I need to release and prepare myself for these energies that I'm stepping into moving forward? So those are your messages for the month of March. I'm Christy Forsyth with Clarity by Christy. If you guys like this video, make sure you hit that like button below. If you want to learn more about me or about Clarity by Christy, you can check me out at discoverawakening.com. Take care, guys.